Nice to see you again.
Joey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm exhausted because I this is the one day I have between Telluride and Toronto.
You
So
were in Telluride?
I saw I saw Richard for a little bit at a party, and
Oh, nice. I'm sorry I missed you. I just got back too.
I know it's so nice, but it's so tiring. And I literally watched this movie in Telluride. So I could do
How?
that.
How did you do that?
Magic, you know. Uh, but
Wow.
it was a very fun way to sort of transition back into this stuff because I obviously love everything you're in. And I think it's such a kind of tightrope that you're able to walk there because the movie's funny, but it's also very sad and it's also very like I don't know, you feel like there but for the grace go I, right? It it's a movie premise, but it also could happen. So I feel like it's
Yeah.
asking you to be very realistically emotional. So what appealed to it? What made
I
it?
mean, you just said it.
Yeah,
You said
well,
it way better than I have been saying it. And honestly, that is what I felt. I was one shocked this movie hadn't been made, and two, I was like, did this actually happen? And the writer heard about it, or it happened to them, and it felt so possible,
yeah,
and plausible, and all these characters felt so uh real and uh mine is a little bit more prickly and
yeah.
intense, but very relatable and understandable. And I exactly what you said is how I felt about the script when I read it for the first time.
Well, I think you're right. Also, it's like I think you have the most relatable character because most people would have your reaction. Like it's very cut and dry. First time she gets, let's say, the news, right? It's very like, okay, bye, peace. Like that's
Totally.
very realistic reaction for a lot of people. You're like, okay, fun. You have fun with that. I'll be far away from you. It does ask you to do things that I think are easily relatable, but then to continue with them, which is not every movie does that. Most movies ask you to do the very beginnings of emotion and then move on. And this one does not.
And it definitely stirs up strong opinions from people, that's for sure. The not just the fact that it's about a threesome, but obviously what happens after that. And I appreciate and welcome all big opinions about it. I think it's cool when a movie has uh, elicits that kind of reaction.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, you'd always rather have a reaction, right? Even if someone doesn't like something, acting's a little different because you don't want someone to just target you because it can be very personal in a way that's not about the performance. But if someone doesn't like something, they're still reacting. The movie still sort of worked. Like if somebody wants to spend a half hour telling you why it didn't work, that still means it did something. If they talk about lunch, even if they liked it, you're kind of like, I wish you paid more attention or
Well,
cared.
that's the funny thing, Telluride is so funny in that way because everybody is just debating and talk and being respectful, but really strong opinions about all these movies in a way that I haven't seen in a long time. It was really fun
Oh
to.
yeah, it's very fun. Sometimes I'll sit next to someone because normally I'll sit with the 10 or 12 other like writers who are there, but sometimes it'll just be a person, right? And they always need to tell you their take on the movie. And sometimes it's wild and I'm pretty sure wrong, but you're like, I'm fascinated to know how you got there. Like, and then I'll tell the
Totally.
filmmaker. Like I told Sean Baker someone's interpretation of the end of Enora last year, and you can see him going, not what I wrote, but I want to know how that person got there. Like, tell me more about this.
Totally. Totally.
It's And I think when it comes to a movie like this, you really do have people who are going to come at it from all sides because it's a conversation. If your friend was any of these three characters, you would be like seated and you know everything. And
Yeah.
you have empathy, but you'd also be like, I kind of want this to go off the rails because I want to know what happens next. We all have that with our friends if they had a bad date, right? You feel bad for them, but you really kind of want to know about the awful part, right? What made it so bad? Like I want to know. It's the movie does a great job of that of like you feel for all three characters, but you also kind of realize where you're like, oh, this is not the opinion I would ever like. You're making this harder. Like it's very messy in that way that life is.
Yeah, and I think for my character, it's she has this such a what's beautiful about the arc of her story without giving too much away is she has this huge response, like you said, understandable when the first kind of big surprise happens. And when the second one happens, it's the reverse, right?
Yeah.
Life is constantly a series of um mirrors
Yeah.
and if you point one finger out, there's usually three pointing back at you. And her life, I think her reaction, I think her arc and what happens to her versus, what she did, it all just comes, I don't like, and it's hard to talk about the giving it away.
I think we're doing an okay job, but yeah, you keep wanting to do like the extra sentence. You're like, no, let people figure that out. But I think I kind of get it, and it's true. And it's also, I think, a thing actors have to do, right? You kind of have to be prepared for whatever may come. What you read on the page is not necessarily what you'll shoot. What you feel is right preparing is not what necessarily the director will want, or it's just not what you'll like, or you may not be the same person when you're ready, or even just you're working with the same people, right? You may not be the same person. Like you're not the same
no,
person.
but what I'm trying to get at is she does something, she feels so wronged
Yeah.
by this situation, and she feels so shocked and hurt.
Yeah.
And that she does the same thing to
Oh, yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah, because
And
we don't realize.
that whether or not you have any sort of, this is a very extreme version of it, but
Yeah.
we all can relate to at one point or another, that experience, and it's a great teacher. It's a great lesson in empathy, which is,
Oh yeah. Well, I think
which is
ultimately,
a
you're
life.
right.
Yeah. No, sorry.
No, I think you're right. That's the ultimate like end point for this is to have empathy for all sides. And
Yes.
also, how do we like? I think the movie's a really good example of like, well, how do we go from here, right? Because it's
Where?
it's a position where like, well, you could really blow everything up, or you could really go in a very unconventional direction. And I think everyone kind of falls mostly in the middle because
Yeah.
you never want to blow something up and you never want to be the one seen as like weird. So
Yeah.
there is like in between of like, well, how do I do that? How do I navigate this? And how do I do it that's right for me? And that's the hardest thing is like it's three different people with three different needs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I think just also as an actor, that's exciting because you get to play someone who is relatable in some ways, but you get to explore a thing that you would probably not be interested in participating in, right? It's like not my thing, but also there's parts of it here that I'm interested in playing with. And that's the fun of acting. If you do it long enough, you get to do it a lot of different times. You get to do it with a lot of different people and you get to return. Like, listen, I tell you right with Rick, having made a movie with him. We don't need to say how long ago it was now, but like you would never imagine, oh, I'm
10
going to
years ago.
Yeah. 10 years later, I'll play Gene Seberg in a movie in French. Like that's not a thing you would think at that time. You're
It
just
was.
good time.
It was. He told me that.
Oh yeah, I know. He's been like play it one day. But you don't believe him. It's like how he said that like Ethan was gonna be in Bloom and once he was like, and I'm quoting him now, unfuckable. And it just needed him to get old. And he called him one day and was like, good news and bad news. One, we're
No
making
way. Is that true? I haven't heard that story from either
oh,
of
me at
them.
the Tony party. He's like, yeah, good news, we're making the movie. Bad news, I saw you in an interview and you're finally getting there, bud.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Yeah, no, well, he also said to me, speaking of that, he said, we're on our last moment. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, come on. She was 20.
You're like,
Okay.
well, not a lot of people could say it that way and wouldn't make me mad. Thanks for that.
No, but it's true. I'm grateful that I got the last window in to play that.
Well, that's also the fun thing of like again, if you do this long enough, you as a person, I think also start to be like, I haven't been that age in a while. I'm no longer using life experiences. I'm now fully pretending about what it's like to be in college or whatever the age is. You're like, I own things now. Like I own a home. Like I
It was
can't be
funny.
that forever.
I did Our Town here on Broadway, and I had to play it, in the first act, I'm a little kid, and and that was funny. I was like, I'm too old to play a little kid.
You're like, I get it. We're gonna do stupid home movies now. Mom can show me home movies, and I don't need to be doing this anymore. I also believe you can do anything. So like I would watch it. But oh no, it's always a pleasure and I can't wait for more. And I'm gonna, be a pain in the ass about Nouveau Vague and this. And
I can't
anything
wait.
is always
Did you see it? Did you get to see it?
No, so the schedule, I'm actually gonna see it in Toronto in like a day. So like I actually on purpose was like, well, I want to have something to kick off that I'm gonna like look forward to because you'll be tired. So like having that in sentimental value to like start my festival is like now I'm in. So I'm very happy.
I hope you enjoy, and it's always such a pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise, hopefully we can do it again soon.
Yes, I think we will. I hope.
Definitely. Thank you. Have a good
Bye,
one.
safe travels.
You too.